So I would like to ask you today, do you have enemies? Well, I bet you have. Like everybody has enemies, right? But I'm not asking about external enemies at all, like people or countries or anything that is outside of you. You know, there's a story about a Navajo woman who was talking to his grandson, and he told him, grandson, you know, inside of us we have two wolves, two internal wolves. The first one is jealous, is angry, is really malicious, and the other wolf is powerful, has empathy, has love, has compassion. So the grandson asked her mother, and so grandmother, between these two wolves, who win? And her grandmother said to him, the one you feed, my son, the one you feed. You know, in today's world, we are filled of very bad news. Bad news about our neighbors, about the country we live in, or other countries, about an incoming war, an incoming apocalypse, the weather, etc. We have been bombarded since we were kids about bad news. Actually, if you know the Times magazine, at the beginning, when this company created the magazine, they were creating very positive content at the beginning. But then they realized that they were not selling as good as selling bad news stories. So they changed all of their stories to bad news, and they were selling much more. But of course, who can blame them? At the end, they are a business. So the point that I want to come here is that every single day we are bombarded with negativity, and we have to be aware of that and try to avoid it. I know that sometimes it is difficult, but we can do something about that. My advice to you is, why don't we just for 30 days avoid watching the news, like turning on the TV to see the bad news. Try to avoid that negativity in your life, and I can assure you that your life and your thoughts and your life are gonna have a dramatically change. You know, people have made us believe that the real enemy is outside of us, in form of our government, in form of our country, in form of anything that is outside of us. But you know, the real enemy is not outside, it's inside of us, inside of our head. This little enemy who's shouting us, you can't do it, don't do it, it's too risky, you should avoid these things because you shouldn't do it, because the fear, and it takes the form of a fear that keeps you away of accomplishing your dreams. So the real enemy that we have to fight every day is our internal enemy, that enemy that is in our head. So what is going to be our strategy? How are we going to fight that enemy? Well, I tell you how. We have to be conscious and aware of those kind of thoughts. All of those thoughts that are coming out in our head, that is constantly bombarding us through the end of the day, we have to take consciousness of this. And I'm not telling you to avoid them, or if you just happen to get into one belief or one thought that is negative, like try to reject it, don't do that, because maybe you're trying to repress those thoughts. No, let them come, but just pay attention to them and don't judge them. Just pay attention and let it go. Don't try to catch them, don't try to follow it, or don't try to retain them. Just look at them and let them go. That's the strategy of how you can overcome and fight your enemy. So with this, I hope that you can find the tools and the weapons to fight that internal enemy that's in your head and overcome that, so that you don't have any distractions, so that you can accomplish all of your dreams. I hope you liked this video, and of course I'll be sharing every single day more valuable information for you. If you really like this kind of information, please like this video and share it to your friends, and let these kind of advices and this kind of information reach the whole world. That would be my biggest pleasure. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.